A new generation and a new crew to pick up the scepter, continue the work the old crew was doing. Scanning Twisters. Twisters being scanned, fun disaster movie. Your device being scanned, not good. Which brings me to the sponsor of this video. This video is brought to you by NordVPN. The VPN service that strives to make traversing this digital hellscape a little safer. Nord's threat protection scans for viruses, malware, blocks it if it looks suspicious, blocks those annoying pop-ups that pop up, then you go to click the X and then the pop-up moves and you accidentally click it. Shenanigans blocks those. Navigating the internet with security and peace of mind, that's priceless. Backed by Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee, minimizing internet risk is in and of itself risk-free. And now with Saley, the eSIM internet service brought to you by Nord, being connected while traveling abroad's more convenient than ever. Choose from affordable eSIM plans in over 150 countries, so you'll always have an internet connection when needed, so you don't have to go hunting down a coffee shop for trash Wi-Fi. Always having internet while saving money, not getting gouged by roaming fees. Perfect for those summer travel plans. And if your device happens to not be eSIM compatible, you get a full refund. So click the link below, go to nordvpn.com/Johns. When you get a 2-year plan, receive 4 bonus months on top and up to a 20 gigabyte Saley voucher. And thank you once again to Nord for sponsoring this video. I do appreciate it. And now, let's party like it's 1996. Well, I guess it'd be 1998 because the sequel would come out a couple years after the original Twister. Whatever. Apparently the sequel will actually come out in 2024, so there's that. So Twisters is the sequel to the 1996 disaster movie classic Twister. The movie that launched kind of a cinematic blockbuster craze of disaster movies. There was an element or a natural disaster, there was a movie about it. Capitalizing on the craze, even the movie Hard Rain was called Flood before it was changed to Hard Rain. Because it's not really a disaster movie, it's a heist movie. And now after all this time, Twister has a sequel. A sequel that's thrown back to the 90s in all the right ways, including throwing back to the 80s with that plural title. So let your audience know shit's getting real. And I don't know what I was looking for in Twisters, but I did know one thing. If I had to use too much brain power, it wasn't doing Twister right. Fun disaster movie with Twisters. God willing, couple cows fly by the screen, I'm good. No cows flew by the screen in this movie. Kind of made me sad. I thought the cast in Twisters did a fine job. Like, if you look at the cast in the original Twister movie, that's a solid cast. A solid cast that's clocking on to work. It's weirdly, in retrospect, a lot to live up to for a sequel. But the cast in this movie did fine. Daisy Edgar Jones is a lead in Twisters. The heart, well, half of the heart anyway. But it's, you know, it's exactly what you think. She has this natural gift to be able to tell where the weather's going, where the Twisters are gonna sprout up, because in this movie, like the last one, man, lots of Twisters in close proximity, in quick succession. Relatively speaking anyway, you would swear this movie is Storm the Revenge. I don't mean the event, I mean the person. Like someone pissed Storm off and now she's just trying to kill people with tornadoes. You gotta give some special love to Anthony Ramos. There was a movie I reviewed not too long ago. I didn't know his name, so I quick IMDb'd it and I was like, oh, okay, that's his name. No, I read the character's name. So I just kept calling him the character's name in the review. How embarrassing. Is what it is. Anyhow, I do feel like there was something building between him and our lead, and then Glenn Powell shows up all like, out of the way, take a back seat, it's the Glenn Powell show, yeah! Sorry, all the other side characters. And his character is basically the embodiment of Twister being brought into 2024. Instead of competitive storm chasers, meteorologists and such, it's private companies and the douchiest of the douche. YouTubers. Bringing the looks, the attitude, the yees, lots of yees. He's all like, yay! Yay! Hey, Kate, how you doing? Storm's back there. Yay! That way. We're gonna go that way. We think it's yay! Another one's gonna come that way. We'll see you there. Don't be yay! Don't be too far behind. Yay! I was like, okay, he's the douche in this movie with more attitude, but I actually appreciated that they gave him depth. Just as a character, he seemed really one-dimensional, but okay, we're here for Twisters, we can roll with it. But there was actually more going on there that I didn't expect. I appreciate that. Seriously, if a sequel to Twister had come out in 1998, he would have been played by Matthew McConaughey. Now this movie is absolutely, it's a sequel to Twister, it's a throwback to Twister. I've heard it described as a standalone sequel. That is to say, you don't have to see the original Twister in order to come into Twisters. There are a couple of references and nods to the original Twister, but really you can come into this and be like, all right, first time here. Maybe it's part of the throwback, the fact that this is essentially Twister. Again. There were quite a few moments where I was like, this is the first movie, but we're doing it again. Different setting, maybe different location, but you know that scene in the drive-in movie theater where you don't see the twister and then lightning cracks behind it and you see the silhouette of it. Yeah, that shot happens in this movie. But in the end, I didn't really mind it. We're not dealing with some lore-heavy IP here. We're dealing with the sequel to Twister. Enough talking about these flesh sacks known as human beings. How was the Twister action? It was fun. Fun disaster shit that goes down how you think it's gonna go down. Twister's closing in. No safe ground in sight. We gotta think fast. All the while, people are getting gobbled up by this thing. That's the thing I like about Twisters. Also the original Twister. And in fact, a lot of successful disaster movies. They're not just disaster movies. They're essentially monster movies. Gotta run and hide to survive the monster. Seriously, it feels a lot like Unicron's coming to town. So it's not just get close to the Twisters to get our scans and survive. It's get close enough to the monsters to scan it but not get eaten. It's just how I saw it. It was the vibe in the movie and it clicked with me. And in that technological throwback kind of way, I appreciate the fact this was filmed in 35mm film. And I gotta say, there's something here. When you're watching the movie, you can't help but go, this does feel like Twister. It feels like a throwback, not in that nostalgia bait kind of way. Talking technique, atmosphere, and tone. I gotta recognize that shooting this movie on 35mm helps in that. I'm not gonna front like I'm an expert on the subject, but I have heard directors say that CGI blends a lot better on film than it does digital. Which if Davy Jones is any indication, that tracks. He still looks amazing. Kind of funny, 35mm was just the norm, and then digital came out, and it was this cool new format. And now going back to 35mm, well, that's what's special. Reminds me of vinyl for music. But in the end, I had a good time with it. For nothing else, it's one of the more organic 90s throwbacks I've seen in a while. Though it doesn't take place in the 90s, so it sounds kind of weird to say. Unabashed, unbridled fun that doesn't give a fuck. I had myself a good time with Twisters. No alcohol required. It's funny, Glenn Powell. It's like Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney appeared one day and the world was like, those are your people now. You want to see an optical illusion? Check this out. Look at this picture. All right. Glenn Powell was actually in that picture. But you didn't see him, did you? All right, so Twisters, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Or what's your favorite 90s disaster movie you'd like to see a sequel to? I don't know if some of them lend themselves to sequels, but I digress. Whatever it is, whatever you think, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.